Tidying up the overlay here, guys, real quick. There we go. Before we get into this, as you can see here at all times displayed, best of and what the score is. If you've never seen Game Heart before, it's a best of 5, and the score is currently 2-1 in the favor of our Red Terran. But we are not done yet. This could be the last game, though. We'll see if it happens. Spawning here in the lower right corner of the map. He is competing for IEM Sao Paulo, because I forgot to throw that in there. It is the Red Terran, known as Polt. Big shout out to his personal sponsor, CM Storm, for supporting him through his StarCraft endeavors.
And on the bottom left, as the blue Protoss, it is EG's Huck.
Oh, his Twitter got uncopy pasted. I'm sorry, one sec. Sorry, Huck, not trying to disrespect you. Just had to go open Twitter again to get a new fresh copy paste. And you can find him on Twitter at Loranger Chris or Lore Ranger Chris, depending how white you want to be. But this has been a pretty, you know what, I gotta say, like, Huck, he makes the right moves, but it just, game number 2 was one thing that worked so well for him. We're back on Frost. Blink again might be his best friend.
Could be. We haven't seen anything too cheesy from Huck, have we? Maybe that's an option.
No, well, that's the thing, too. Like, I think a lot of these, how do you phrase it? Like, the very professional players, the ones who have been in this scene for a long, long time, like, these are the guys who are expected to play macro games. That's why, like, when you go to the WCS finals and SOS does, like, cannon rushes, everyone's like, wait, what? Because no one expects that. Huck and Polt, they're probably expecting giant macro games from one another. So I agree. Maybe cheese. Maybe. But it's the fact that this is Frost and Blink can be incredibly strong that I think an all-in at a Huck, again, I'm feeling strongly that might be his best choice. Whether he even goes for that, though, is a completely different question.
Yeah. We'll have to, unfortunately, wait and see. In fact, one of the first telltale signs, of course, is if he puts guys and how fast he puts guys back on gas. Clearly, it's 2-3 out of 2-3. If you guys don't know, that's the perfect amount to get to all three: Mothership Core, Mothership Core, Stalker, and Warp Gate.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I forgot to iterate this too. We've been saying it again and again, and I apologize, guys, for not providing the proper amount of information because I'm a terrible broadcaster like that. This is the loser's bracket. So to explain how important that is, Polt did drop out of the winner's bracket in the finals. Huck has been fighting his way up actually through the loser's bracket for a long time. Huck, I gotta say, he's definitely had to work a lot harder to get here. There's been a little bit more on the line for him, but this is still the end of the road for both players. Like, one of these two goes on, one of these two is completely done for, and again, it sucks because these are two players I would love to see in IEM. Like, I wish they were meeting in some other circumstance on different sides of the brackets.
Yeah. Oh well. I actually was wondering if Pult's maybe is on winter break right now. So December 17th, yeah, he would be on winter break. So he's probably actually pretty. I mean, he's pretty good anyways. Like even when his exams in 3 days, but he's probably pretty good now too.
Polt actually just sniped off. Oh, that force field was so good out of Huck. Whether it's wasted or not, we'll have to see. But tries to keep the Reaper in base. Couldn't quite kill it off. Polt for the first time actually sorry, I can't speak. Picking off a couple of probes there. Picking off a Protoss, couple of I don't know. Go for alliteration. Anyways, nothing too devastating. But this is something that Huck has actually been doing great at shutting down. Like what can you remember of this series that Polt's been able to do much with the Reaper? None. This is the first time he's been able to get in here.
Yeah. I was just noticing that Huck's been doing something really different. As of course, the last games he's been getting that Zealot, which a lot of players don't get or just cancel. And he's also been going for that poke every single time with a Stalker. This time, potentially because it's a bigger map, he just goes straight for the sentries. He's getting 2 gates behind this as well. And I'm wondering if he's going to be doing something different. Of course, last time he went for like a definite pressure build. I don't know, if it wasn't up to 7 gateways, I don't want to really call it an all-in, but a definite pressure build. But this time, I wonder if he's actually going to do something like a 7 gate, because Huck was known for a long time for his gateway all-ins.
Yeah, actually, that's a big thing, too. I remember, especially start hard of the Swarm, like, if it was Huck on ladder, we found a replay, you could bet your last dollar was probably going to be an all-in. So it's not like it's out of his forte, but Reaper finally going to get picked off here. What it scouts is odd. Seeing 3 sentries in no definitive tech, now the robo facility going down. For Polt, he's got to be questioning, like, what is he going to go for a bunker bust? I haven't shown a bunker. Why would he do this or something? But sentries, you know, it's not like ZVP, right? Sentries are probably one of the lesser, how do I phrase it? Like, because forces are so imbalanced in ZVP. Every Zerg player will tell you that. But they're not so effective in TVP. Now, we've actually seen Huck do some cool things where he catches units in a small cup of force fields, or he uses them to block out this and not waste an overcharge, I guess. But this is an odd unit composition, to say the least, for this matchup at least.
Yeah. One thing you guys can do in your own play that Paul's really good about is that because he Reaper expanded pretty much, he was able to see whether or not the Zealot was coming out, and when the Zealot stock combo wasn't coming out, he didn't even bother getting a bunker. He only got a bunker now, I feel, because he did not scout anything definitive, and he's a little worried. But that can, just kind of add a little bit into your play. Of course, it's probably going to affect the high masters, but it's cool to see anyways.
Well, will Huck have to bring the overcharge is going to be the big question. Of course, that's the whole point of the force fields and the energy on these sentries. You want to try and prevent that from happening, but overcharge will go off and it'll actually lock these into the base. Oh, the sentry, that's what I'm talking about. That cup.
Oh, one more force field.
Oh, well,
it doesn't really matter.
Almost gets it with the Zealot wall.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Sentry's in a bit of an odd spot, but this is kind of great because normally for Polt, right, like you come into this, you attack, you get the overcharge, you back off with taking like maybe a Marine loss. For Huck, he actually kills the entire force, so there's no follow-up out of this.
Yeah, it was great for Huck. I think Polt might be a little surprised by how much went down there. You really don't expect that many sentries. First of all, we've been talking about that for a while, but you don't expect to be able to have a donut hole like that against that little push.
Yeah, well, again, when you don't have practice playing against, because like it's like playing mech TVP. Like it's just so uncommon to see this many sentries. He probably wasn't prepared to see what just happened go down, and now he's got 2 bunkers back up at home. If he had more immortals with us,
4.
Oh, did he go for 4? So 2 at the front. Oh, geez, yeah, 2 more coming down behind that. Oh, Polt is really worried about a counterattack.
Yeah, I feel like it's what Huck's plan has been all along, With that many sentries in an immortal, you gotta be thinking, oh god, he's gonna go for a bust, oh my god, get prepared. But Huck's like, nah, bro. Twilight Council.
Well, luckily, too, of course, for Polt, this isn't like an investment that he can't salvage out of. Thank God for bunker salvage. All Terrans out there have felt that feeling, because you can super defense up like this and not have to worry too much about it, but...
Yeah, the one thing that it does affect, of course, because salvage makes it sound like it's totally OP, but actually it's affecting, again, Polt's mid-game, where he's not going to feel confident pushing out until he's absolutely sure nothing's going to happen, and that's going to be for a while, because, of course, Terrans, they never scan, so he's not going to scan the natural and be like, oh, you got a Twilight Council, well, I can get out of here. He's going to wait maybe a minute longer and then salvage, but that's a minute delayed on what is usually a very aggressive Polt.
I was about to ask, like, is scanning observer's been there for so long, but Polt does snipe it off as you finish talking, so... Huck, damn it. Huck, unfortunately... Sorry, guys, that's like 7 hours of casting to kick it in here. Huck, unfortunately, will lose his scouting vision on the other half of the map, but he's invested a lot into weapons again, so not armor upgrades, he's invested in Blink too. I gotta say, my favorite thing to watch was his Blink dancing in the middle of the map. Again, kind of like almost effectively speedlings where you're just using them for control, picking off what you can here and there. He's going to be able to perform the same duties once again. But he's going to have to take a very defensive fight first by the look of it. He's got those force fields, he's got Guardian Shield. And oh man, Polt is not missing any of the observers. Are they even cloaked? Oh my god.
For a time, he was known as like the observer killer, but they're finally bringing it back in this game, maybe at the last few games. Gonna try and push in here. There's no splash, as you were saying, he's gonna have to take a defensive fight first before he can really feel confident enough for taking at least a third. But there's definitely enough gateway units and of course force field to really scare Polt away. Usually with those splash, the Terran player says yes, but in this situation, Huck's perfectly fine.
The Fact Overlord is gonna go down. There we go. I finally found a creative name for it. Force fields are not bad. Doesn't quite. Oh, there we go. With those last 2, we'll catch a couple more units and an aggressive Blink. We'll even pick off the
He
Marauders.
blocked his own units.
That's okay though, because he's chasing with the Stalkers. The units would never been able to keep up in the first place. If he can get a couple more here, he's got a Warping on the other side. Stalkers in 5 is going to chase off that command center. Might go for a medevac if he decides to focus it. No, goes for the Marauders instead. That's going to work out fine. Still 2 bunkers standing though, so Polt can retreat into these, but he's still in a very scary spot. Huck does not have a dominating army lead, but what he does have is incredibly strong. Oh,
Drop in the main.
Zealot Warpins combined with the overcharge might just clean this up, though. And if he does, this is a large portion of Polt's army that is not at home defending. Now, he doesn't have high ground vision, so he has to be careful. The SCVs have been pulled, but the bunkers are useless. The force fields are good, and the Guardian Shields are holding strong. If he can move on 4th, oh, he's going to take out the armor. He's going to take out the engineering bay. He's going to stop upgrades, and looks like he sort of holds it home. Unfortunately, Polt did reposition, but that overcharge is going to help pick things off. This is looking to go very much in the favor of Huck if he can keep up the momentum, because Polt is not producing behind this. His income is garbage off of 1 base barely. Lots of SCVs have fallen, and if Huck can hold it home, oh, it looks like he will. A couple more Warpins in this Mothership Core should secure this.
Yeah, I wish he had picked up the SCVs and tried to stabilize at home. Of course, there's Blink. But I mean, at least they have to blink up there, and you maybe have like 5 more seconds. I don't know. But Polt is looking in a very desperate situation. Just the blink stalkers alone. He doesn't have any like high power units. Of course, the immortals went down very quickly, but it doesn't matter. Oh my god. Polt picks up everything to go on. Oh, okay, going on the low ground.
Yeah, he wants to be able to take a fight head on. Huck will lose the sentries, but he can blink away if he can. Oh, he just wasted the blink, actually.
He just used it.
Yeah, forced to take the fight. Now, it's still not looking too bad for him. He's got level 2 upgrades, so these stalkers are hitting pretty hard, but Marauders are just, again, designed to counter stalkers. They're designed to destroy them. So on full retreat now is Huck, but boy, was that economic damage good. Down to 24 SCVs. Polt is not in a good spot this game. Charge on the way. Immortals being remade and armor upgrades coming out in due time.
Well,
Huck.
Just trying to, like, I think Huck's in a good lead. Like, yeah, of course, killing all this is really going to help, but you're taking into account that Polt's on 3 base. He's actually going to use the 3rd base just as an SCV maker, which I really, really like. Not going to try and get it down in case it does get sniped again. Oh, the drop! Ah, darn it. That's more not in Polt's favor, but yeah, and he just took out a big chunk of Huck's army, and Huck just has never gone up to Storm yet. So if he plays, once again, very drop heavy and denies the 3rd a couple few more times, maybe Polt's okay.
I don't know. We'll see. Blinking back here. The only reason I might hesitate to question this is because what Huck lost was gateway units. It's not the same as killing Colossus outright or even Immortals. It was like blink stalkers. And beautiful time warp will allow him to get a couple more kills here. Pushing forward, he can probably pick off these medevacs, which would be sick if he can get a blink forward, but no, a little bit scared. A little bit smart too, because if he did, Polt will be coming from the south. Even when Polt's behind like this, you can count on him to attack from 2 angles.
Yeah, he's actually not reproducing SCVs either, so he has the money for it. I feel like it's a mistake, but trying to go for another drop, this can be very effective. What's in the main right now? Absolutely nothing. The blink stalkers are there, so of course they can blink in, but they don't want to do it against units already dropped. Yeah, exactly.
Moving forward, he's going to be looking for that second attack. Huck finds it. Unfortunately, he's busy overcharging the Nexus in the main, so he doesn't get that blink off initially and loses a couple stalkers here in the front lines. Zealots moving forward, they do have charge, and charge makes Zealots so effective versus Bio, but unfortunately, they don't have those massive armor upgrades. Worth noting too, Polt, having lost that armor, he has no upgrades coming out either, so he could possibly be stuck on 1-1, theoretically, when Huck's on 3-3 if he chronos out like a madman. Still pushing forward quite aggressively.
Are so scary, by the way. As long as Polt keeps taking the fights when it's only Zealots, which so far he's been pretty good at, the Immortals don't matter, but when the Immortals actually reach those Marauders, it's almost as good or even better than a Colossus at this point.
Oh, this sucks, though, for Polt. He lost the Oh, my God, since he lost the factory, he can't make a new armory! His upgrades are going to be so far behind for the entire game at this point. Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
If he hasn't forgotten, then it's a conscious choice to try and get everything else out. But he's not actually like broke. He actually has enough gas where you could afford. There he goes, puts on the armory and does recognize the fact that he will. He doesn't want to take such a severe upgrade disadvantage. Although he's probably resigned to the fact that he will be.
Well, time warp goes down. Another great engagement coming out of Hockey. We'll get the charge off with those Zealots, and unfortunately, Polt trying to flank from the south. Can't quite get the advantage on Hawk as that Archon is going to be a little too good. Middle of the map, though, turns around, and as you said, he could take fights versus Zealots only, and that's what ended up happening. Driving Huck back once again, but looks like that base goes down, not lifted. So much going on in this game. Polt, the master of multitasking, can't keep up with Huck. This is insanity.
He never was able to deny that 3rd at all. So that's going to be nice and healthy. And then he never really remade SCVs. There was a good 4 minutes right there where he only made like 6 more, and then that was it. He's only up to 33. So
he's consciously ignoring upgrades too. That's
I mean, it makes sense. Maybe something could have happened like 6 minutes ago, but at this point now, like Polt's, I don't know.
Yeah, if Polt even tries to make upgrades at this point, he knows that they're going to be so far behind. And Hawk is currently sitting on 2-2. His level 3 weapons are about to complete. And I talk about it every single time we get in this situation, but if you guys haven't seen it, there's like this joke video with Rotterdam where he like moves a bunch of charge lots with 3-3 into 1-1 bio, tabs out of the game and wins. That's kind of something similar I imagine happening if it gets to that stage. We now have the Colossus, the Robobait finishing up, so Colossus will finally get involved in the fight, but Polt's, he's going for a pretty big drop. There's already... If Huck doesn't move out... Oh no! Huck's moving out with the stalkers! I was going to say they're so good in the position they're in! The Rifkin Jinx, the Rifkin Curse, I don't know what it is, but this is going to be 4 big drop ships coming into the main, and this is where all the gateways are. If Polt kills the production of Huck, he can't continue to overpower him like this. These
Look how many
charge
charge shots that are. I mean, jeez, if he gets into a choke somewhere, maybe he wins.
No,
but
look at this. He's still killing, even though it's just the cooldown of the charge doing damage. He's still killing Marauders. But meanwhile, in the main, Blink Stock is brought back. It's simply not going to be enough. Huck's going to have to rely on some pretty good weapons if he wants to stay in this game, unless he wants to force a full-on base trade. This is that choke you're talking about, but it's the high ground, and you don't want to fight over there. Huck now so wildly out of position, gives up the main, forfeits the Nexus. These gateways are going to fall next. I mean, this is his production line. It sucks to lose all of this. This is what Polt needed to get back in this game.
is Polt going back in this game? Seriously?
No way.
He also has a
No way.
a third command center, but he's bringing over his main orbital, because why not? You're already almost mined out anyways.
Oh, Huck has lost everything at this point, and Polt has even up the supply count. Huck is trying to get into the main. He's going to blink forward to try and pick off these medevacs, but there's, again, look at these charge lots. They're not even attacking. They're just moving. They go for the... Oh, what? He kills his own gateway! What? A big mistake there out of Huck. Meanwhile, Polt pressing the issue, and actually, Huck left enough at this base. I really like this. If he had pulled everything, he would have just lost his third base for sure, but cleans up the main despite losing everything. Now tries to hold on to the third. Polt has brought himself back into this game in a big way, and Huck has this crazy gas bank that he can't spend right now because the only thing he can make are these 2 Colossus at a time.
Well, you know, he didn't kill any of the tech. He killed all of the gateways, so
killed the gateways,
when
exactly.
when he loses his gateway army, I mean, that's it for a while. But they're staying alive enough that they're going to be a tons of buffer for the Colossus, and Polt, there's no way he's going to have Ghosts and Vikings out in time.
Yeah, the Colossus will be the saving grace in this game as long as Huck doesn't throw anything at this point. But one Viking will be picked off here to the south. Looks like the drop's going to be unloaded, so it won't be sniped off so easily. Polt now on 3 bases, though. I guess it's not the biggest deal that Huck lost the main, because this was all pretty much mined out anyways, but still, that was so much he had to give up for that. And he didn't cause...
He just moved his natural as well.
Yeah, Polt down
man.
here. Fight in the middle of the map, though. Charge lots are great at connecting. The Colossus have been revealed at this point, but again, multi-pronged attacks out of Polt's. Oh, we have...
Polt.
Boys and girls, we have shattered the base trade TV record at this point. I'm not even going to bother touching because I want to see how high it goes up to until after the game's finished. But, man, Huck in the main once again. The drop going off. Does blink to pick off the medevacs. I don't think that blink was necessary, but still picks off the medevacs. So there's no escape for this drop. A couple Colossus and the Immortals being brought back. This is one thing really respectable out of Huck, by the way. The issue for a lot of Protoss players, it's not splitting to defend, right? But it's splitting the correct amount to defend. And every time he's left enough behind that he's not going to lose the game from, you know, being out of position for one drop. Now this, unfortunately, was cleaned up because he brought everything to the front lines once again. Of course, like 5 Zealots isn't going to cut it. Going to lose another gateway here, and on top of that, even some more pylons. I just hope Huck doesn't get too confident with his push, because if he does, he's going to have to push to win. That drop in the main. Ugh.
Oh, big Doom drop. Is that a big Doom drop? Yes, it is. A lot of units are in 3 medevacs on top of Huck's third base. I don't know if he's going to be able to survive long enough, though. I mean, it might be a base race, but it's going to be one that favors Huck.
Huck, okay, he does know about this other base. He's got a Zealot down here actually killing SCVs too, so... okay, cleaning up at home here, the main base, but still, that's not the point of contention. It's over here in the third, where the mining is going on, where the importance of Huck's economy is. The heart of his base is about to fall. He's warping in some Zealots, but they should go down as long as Polt focus fires. Meanwhile, Polt has also lost a lot himself, down to 4 SCVs at this point, Zombie Grub. It's a wild game, but I think Huck should be able to take this to Game 5 as long as he makes no mistakes. There's still a lot of bio in the main. He cannot charge in blindly.
Okay, 1 command center is still left. The second one's gonna go down. He doesn't have any SCVs. Loses a free Colossus. Hey, that's pretty good for Polt. But Polt would literally have to catch Huck's Colossus out of position and kill all of them and then fight the ground army. That is the only way he's gonna win army versus army.
Oh, Huck was expecting extra bases to go out too. He Zealot blocks. Unfortunately, Polt's still chipping away here in the main. He's not done yet, but no SCVs. Does he even have... Oh, he doesn't have any command centers. He's got he's got the one, but it's not going to land. Huck's camping that. So this is it. This is his army. He's not making any more on top of this. And this drop is going to get cleaned up. This is Huck's game. Short of having a stroke, maybe having a heart attack in his computer, God forbid, I just can't see him losing this.
No, neither can I. Had he stayed on nothing but gateways, then maybe. But those Colossus, they're never going to have any counter. They're going to win.
Polt scanning this, landing the command center. Good game will be called, and looks like this will go to game number 5, tying it up 2-2. He is Evil Genius's Huck.